Let me turn on my light. Yeah. Click play. Okay. Let me click play here and see if everything is working. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I want to welcome you to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where we are inviting all tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious to join in these live streams, to enjoy the replays, ultimately to connect with each other, inspire each other, and to create better art and tattoos together. This is Reinventing Drawing Group, Monday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 for Jake Meeks, who's the host, even earlier for California. Europe has it easy, but this is where we start off our week. Very thankful to be alive and breathing and creating art. If you are an artist and would like to zoom in, then you can head over to either of the app stores, the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo and give the app a download. Or you can go straight to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. First link there is events, and that events link has the Zoom, so please zoom in. We're pretty excited. We now have those goodie bags we have been talking about for the Equinox party. Those are all actually shipped, so now we're shifting gears, and the goodie bags are going to people who are zooming in. A double goodie bag goes to people who are zooming in, and we've got goodie bags that will go out to people that are making comments and sending in good questions and comments in any of the chat rooms. As I was saying, we're going out on YouTube, Facebook. You might be listening to a replay in the podcast store. It's pretty fun. We encourage everybody to subscribe, write good reviews. A lot of these channels are new for us. And yeah, so that would be great. Let's see here. Yes, as far as winning goodie bags, we have cartridges from Cheyenne and pigment samples from Raw Pigments. We will throw in some webinars, and it's good. We're now going to start working some of these giveaways into these programming, which is going to be fun. So please send the comments out there and then share this around. Let people know that the more people are watching, the more stuff we can give away. Upcoming professional development includes, let's see, we've got Andre Malcolm is doing a koi sleeve design. That's tomorrow. It's only $99, 2 hours, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. You should definitely check it out. Go to courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Andre's awesome. And you can draw along and get critiqued. You only have 1 day left to sign up. So yeah, definitely do so. Let's see, we've got replays from BJ Betts. We've got Bob Tyrell, an 11-hour webinar replay. And then, of course, the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon that happens. There's live events every Monday at 9 o'clock. That will be today. Today's Monday. Unless you're watching the replay or listening on the podcast, and I don't know what day it is. Point is, every Monday at 9 o'clock, Reinventing the Tattoo subscribers, the paying subscribers, really are the beating heart of this Reinventing the Tattoo community. We're very thankful to the sponsors for helping this programming go out for free. Hey, someone's, sorry, I do need to stop this because there is I'm going to mute you, Ed. Your audio is very, a little crazy. And let's see here. Oh, okay. And I'm going to spotlight for everybody. Okay. Sorry about that. I think I'm back. Am I back? Yep. Okay. Awesome. Anyways, yeah, I want to thank our sponsors for making this content free. I want to thank our members, the paying subscribers who have exclusive exercises with Guy Aitchison every Monday night at 9 o'clock. Everyone sends in their homework. It gets critiqued right there by Guy and by your reinventing peers. And then you go into the next exercise. Each of these exercises builds off of each other. So then there's final projects. It's amazing. It's not just an amazing course, which it is an amazing course that started off as a 3-ring binder, turned into the books and the DVDs, and is now, on a full educational online platform with courses, all of the webinars that Guy edits with all of the, pop-ups and the really, he knows how to edit himself. So he goes through some of the webinars, edits them. He also has recordings of all of the Monday exercises every Monday. It's amazing, a wealth of information. But again, not only is it just the courses that's growing, it's exclusive access once a week. It's amazing. I don't know how long he'll do it for, because for that price, you should only be getting them once a month. Anyways, that's the Reinventing subscribers. It's courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. thetattoo.com. We also have real world events that are coming up. It seems like people are getting vaccinated, and even Europe seems to be letting people in. So let's see, October 3rd to the 6th, we actually have a Paradise BYOB. Bring your own brains, brushes, beets, bud, beer, booze, berries if you're vegan. I don't know. We're all going to get together at Jiminy Peak and do some sharing. We'll set up seminars and a few booths. Again, we still have limited capacity there, but we'll see what we can do come October. People are booking their rooms, and I am going to be setting up the website and all that. But again, it's going to be very limited capacity. So, and we don't, we're still coming out of the pandemic. Anyways, the dates are secured. We have the whole resort, the 3rd to the 6th. It's a Sunday to a Wednesday. It's Tattooers' Days Off. Then we are headed over to the Brussels Tattoo Convention. I want to thank Kim, the promoter, for bringing over a Reinventing Live. It's going to be a set of seminars. Nick Baxter, Ivana, and I will be doing seminar one a day. We'll be doing a Reinventing members meetup, and we have a whole bunch of people coming over. It seems pretty. It's going to be pretty fun for everybody to get together on the other side of the world. Other side, not the other. I don't know, same hemisphere, but anyways, and Brussels is beautiful, and we'll be doing beaming in with different Reinventing events. And doing subscriber events. We'll do regular a whole Reinventing community get together. So yeah, it'll be fun. That's the Brussels Tattoo Convention. It's happening November 12th to the 14th. And then next year in 2022, pencil in the dates. We've got July 8th to the 10th is the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo. I wish I had the poster to put up. I'm gonna get the screen back here to go through a slideshow when I do these, so that it's a little bit better. But for now, you just get to hear me talk while we're doing the intro. Thank you, I appreciate it, and it's worth it getting through here because we barely interrupt during the shows. Anyways, Rock River Tattoo Art Expo, July 8th to the 10th, tattooartexpo.com. Guy Aitchison is going to be leading the Reinventing track. We've got, I think it was 130 artists that will be there. Beautiful venue. There's glass windows on one side of the walls that overlook the river. Cliff Breakers is the venue because it's right there on the river. And then Paradise Tattoo Gathering, full-on tattoo show, Thursday to Sunday, 3rd week of October. I think it's the 20th to 23rd, 2022. Those are 2022 dates. Those are real live shows that we'll be putting together. Okay, let's see. Thank you to our sponsors. We have Raw Pigments, rawpigments.co. They're getting their pigments, right straight from the source, and their inks that they're making are acrylic-free and vegan. They won't dry out in the cups. There's a couple interviews with, let's see, Lauren from Raw Pigments has a business call you could check out. Well, you could check out the samples yourself if you comment something great and inspirational, I don't know, or just comment something or share this around. We will be picking people out to pick out to get goodie bags that contain raw pigment samples. Then we also have inkjetstencils.com has been a great supporter of the Reinventing community from the beginning. You can save your hands strain, you can save your pocketbook a little bit of dough, and save time, which is that resource that none of us get any more of, by doing all your reference right there on your computer, your iPad, or whatever tablet you got, or on Photoshop on your computer, and then printing them out from your EcoTank refillable ink printers. You can actually print out sleeves and back pieces. Check out Andre Malcolm's video in the Reinventing community. They've got the Inkjet Stencils has a whole virtual booth there. You can check it out. They've got webinars on how to do it. And if you're wondering if what it's like or the consistency of the stencils or how it comes out, you can send them your artwork and they'll send you back a bunch of stencils so you can kind of see how they would tune, or how they print it out, how the stencil would come out, so that you can have an accurate idea of what's going on there before you buy that printer. Anyways, thank you very much, Inkjet Stencils. Of course, tattooeducation.com and GuyAitchison.com. Guy makes all of this possible. He's a driving force behind the content behind Reinventing and making sure that everyone is sharing with each other and inspiring each other. And these Monday morning drawing groups came about in one of those brainstorming sessions. He was really excited for people to be beaming in and doing the tattoo homework together. Okay, and then we have lastly tattoonow.com. I'm going to start promoting that again because I'm catching up with all this other techie stuff. We're doing all sorts of tech for tattooers for 25 years now, since the mid-90s. And you can check out tattoonow.com or GabeRipley.com. That's me. And you can see what I've got going on. Okay. Let's see, last section to plug. Okay, well, I guess I started 2 minutes late, so I'm not over time. Too bad. Our affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network YouTube and podcast is awesome. They've got years of interviews and all sorts of technically things, like, right up to the borderline of irresponsible. Jake is awesome. And you can check out all sorts of, like I said, great content. We also have an affiliate, the Apprenticeship Diaries. So if you're an apprentice type, or even a mentor, not even just for tattoos, but Amy interviews all sorts of mentors, and it's great insights into the learning processes. That's the Apprenticeship Diaries, just as a podcast, not as a YouTube yet. And then let's see, lastly, we've got a link set up for eco-friendly tattoo supplies that go out to a couple places. And if you sell eco-friendly tattoo supplies, then shoot us an email, then we could get you listed there. Speaking of contacting us, if you're interested in bringing reinventing to your event or your shop or whatever, or you're interested in sponsoring the show, please let us know. Or you have constructive criticisms, management@reinventingthetattoo.com is our email. And yeah, one last reminder to give it a follow, share it around, send the positive reviews in if you're appreciating what's going on, because that is how we could actually keep doing this and growing. Okay, thank you, Jake, and everyone for beaming in. I'm going to go to gallery mode. I'm trying to get this order correct. Hey, look at that. We've got a bunch of new folks here too.
We have some new folks today. I noticed that. That's awesome. What's up, everybody? Sorry, I'm like stuffy and snotty today. I've been battling a head cold for a few days, and today it just like all moved to my throat, I think. So I've got this old raspy blues man voice. How's everybody doing? What's up, Ricardo?
How's it going, Jake? Pretty good, man.
What are you working on today?
I think I'm just gonna start sketching on some ideas that I have for paintings that are coming up pretty soon. Today I'm working on an existing sleeve, so there's not too much work there. Everything's already all laid out. I don't have any pictures of it right now, or else I'd kind of share with you guys. So sorry about that. But yeah, I think today I'm just gonna be using this kind of stuff for some reference.
Okay.
And some paintings and stuff that I have planned. For some conventions and stuff like that coming up pretty soon. So
what conventions do you have coming up?
There's a couple in the Pennsylvania area. The Gettysburg, I think, is coming up here pretty soon. Saddle Gettysburg or something like that. So I think that's the first one that we'll be doing. Jason, I'm gonna go with Jason Leeser and work a booth with him. So that's pretty cool, man.
That'll be awesome. Yeah. Sweet. Well, what about let's see, who do I not know? There's a handful of people that I don't know on here, I guess. Edward, what are you? Where you? Have you been on before, Edward, or is this your first time jumping on the call? You're muted. I think Gabe muted you earlier. No, still can't hear you. Oh yeah.
Ed, we might be clicking at the same time. If you just click the unmute, you'll be back.
What about you, Jessica? What's going on? Wait, while Edward's
I am working on a. Are you familiar with Studio Ghibli? You know, the anime stuff.
Oh no.
They did movies like Spirited Away and.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So I have a friend who, long time ago, got a couple of characters from that, and so we're just kind of expanding on that. Except there's a couple things that I wish I would have done differently. It's kind of one of those things where I was talking to you about, where I was you kind of tattoo yourself into a corner, because you put like some small piece in a random spot on somebody, thinking maybe that's like the last time you'll ever tattoo them, and then lo and behold, they want a sleeve later.
Right.
So I'm working on that. And I got a couple of the main characters stenciled out, but I'll just show you the thumbnail that I've been working on because I think that'll make more sense.
Yeah.
So there's 3 characters that she wants on her lower arm. So she wants Ponyo and Calcifer, and I don't know if that's their name, but it's Bowmouth or whatever.
Yeah.
So the one that's going to be on the back side of the arm there on the elbow area is
Right.
a fat mouse that's being carried by a bird. And then
Okay.
Ponyo is this little girl who like started out as a fish, and then she's going to be kind of interacting with the Calcifer character, who's basically just a flame with a face.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's
what's the environment that they're in? Are they?
That's
You
the
don't know that
thing.
yet?
That's what I'm having trouble with. In the past when I'd done sleeves, I had done them and I've tried to pack in a lot of color. This was done by Michael Toth, and he has a studio out in our studio. He has a shop out in Tillamook, and he was the one who started tattooing me back in like 2013, 2012. And I was just really influenced by his work. So I was packing in like a lot of color into the background and just leaving these little like negative space things, you know?
Right.
But lately I've been kind of getting away from that and wanting to put more, like use people's skin tone a little more.
Yeah.
I feel like it creates more contrast, especially like from far away, if you're able to like create big enough shapes, kind of like Steve Moore does, where he uses a lot of like really like great like color palettes and stuff for the characters, and then the background would just be completely blank.
Yeah. He's pretty bold with that.
Right. So I've been kind of trying to do stuff like that, especially with my female clients, because I think it makes it look a little bit lighter. So for this, I was thinking of just maybe putting some bubbles in the background. Ponyo's character originated from the ocean, and then Calcifer's character is a flame. So those are like 2 completely opposite elements that I'm having to try and combine. And I wasn't quite sure how to do that because I hate just sticking stuff, especially when it comes to this. I've done anime and Pokemon sleeves and stuff like that before. And I hate just sticking them on there and not having them interact with each other. I want to make them look like they're in the same environment. So that was the trouble that I was running into. Calcifer's character, I had to watch like all 3 of these movies so I could do like a little research. Calcifer's character is kind of like cynical but he's funny, but he's always afraid of like being put out because he's a flame, you know? So I was thinking of having, and Ponyo's character is really playful. So I was thinking of having her kind of come up and get near him and stuff, just to kind of like bring out some of his, the part of him that gets scared of being put out all the time. And then I was going to put the mouse and stuff on the back. But my fear with that is I didn't want just one character taking up like a huge section by itself. And then, so what I was thinking of was rather just packing the background with color. Maybe I could pull some bubbles in to maybe it look like it's coming from the ocean and stuff like that. And she also said that she wanted some blossoms, like some cherry blossoms and stuff like that. She sent me a reference for the background, and that's got a couple of Studio Ghibli characters and some blossoms and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's a little sparse for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. By the way, I'm not sure who made this. I'm sorry for, I don't, no offense to whoever did that original tattoo. But that's a little too sparse for my taste. But cherry blossoms and stuff like that.
Yeah. My first instinct was just to blow all the characters up so that they were all a little bigger and actually interact.
Right.
Yeah, instead of like feeling like you have to see all of one character on one plane, you know?
Yeah, and that's definitely, I've been trying to do that as well, because I've done pieces in the past and I've made the characters like way too small, and I like kick myself in the ass later, you know?
Yeah.
There's a comment in the chat room that is about, around this. Casey Lee is in the chat room. Had to explain that concept to some clients yesterday. So sometimes getting something that will hinder your future plans for future tattoo layouts. And really trying to figure out how to help tattoo clients understand, whatever it is that they put on their body really should be put in the context of, that body part.
Yeah, for sure. I just use that
So just
Jake
real
Meek
quick,
lines all the time.
real
Use
quick
the what
before,
now?
so I just want to let Casey know, Casey Lee, if you email management@reinventingthetattoo.com, then we can get your address, and then we'll get you out a goodie bag. So thank you for tuning in. He says, or she says, they say, I have to get ready to head to the shop. It's like an hour commute, but I am watching while heading to work. Hopefully
Sweet.
you'll be listening, not watching. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how many people I've come across that drive hours to tattoo each day just because they, I guess, no decent shops close by or no shops at all close by. I don't know, but I hear that so often. It's like, yeah, it's an hour each way. My buddy Million, who he's been on our show a couple of times. He lives in North Dakota, and his drive is something crazy, an hour and a half each way or something like that. It's like, oh God, sounds terrible. But to that point, one thing I always try to think of is just like, as long as I'm drawing to that specific area of the body and leaving myself some ends, I rarely run into the problem where I had like butt up against a tattoo, so if it's like, if it's a deltoid tattoo, I just try to use the whole deltoid. I don't like using some piece of a muscle, you know what I mean? I like to use the whole thing. So I will push back on like that kind of stuff. But well, otherwise,
the issue that I'm having with this one, I mean, it's not necessarily an issue, but it's I guess it's more of like hindsight's 2020 sort of thing. Is she got some characters from Studio Ghibli before, and it was two dragons. Actually, okay, one of them wasn't from. I don't think the second one's from Studio Ghibli. For any nerds out there, yeah. Sorry, guys. I think one of them was a dragon from Dragon Ball Z, and I think his name's Shenron. And the second
all
one
this stuff was just after my time a little bit. Yeah.
I don't really watch a whole lot of it either. I like it, but I don't. I just, especially with like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, that they're so long and the episode, like it goes on for years and years. And it's like, there's no way I'm going to catch up,
Yeah.
So the issue or the thing that I was kind of regretting with this one was that when I did those two dragons, I didn't just, because she wants a lower sleeve now. So, I mean, I should have just brought the dragons through the whole thing and then kind of tuck these characters throughout, because I mean they're dragons, they're really long,
right?
So, but in retrospect too, I was a younger artist then, and I probably wouldn't have been able to do a sleeve as well as I would be able to do one now. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't do that. But
probably so. I remember years ago, you guys may remember a really great tattooer from France called Dimitri HK, but he was doing a guest spot at our studio, and I watched him do the first ever throat tattoo that I saw. It was on my friend Paul that I used to tattoo with, and Paul wanted a dragon on his throat, and he had sketches of what he wanted it to be, and Dimitri was like, "Nah, we can't. I'll just do a dragon head." He's like, "I can't do a dragon on your throat. I'll just do the head." And that he was like one of the first people that I remember, like because this was still late 90s, early 2000s, so there was still a lot of like tiny, you would do sleeves full of a lot of tiny stuff, a lot of like small, really rendered stuff. And he was the first one that I saw that was really simplifying things. And I was just like, wow, I would have never thought of just doing the head. I would have been trying to wrap the tail around his ear, or, some kind of crazy stuff that I probably couldn't pull off. But there's Dimitri. He's still, I think his photography skills are probably aren't up to date, but he or maybe they are. That actually looks like he's doing some decent photos. But he's super fast and can just do everything. He's really great at like portrait work and like illustrative work and all kinds of stuff. He was really doing super interesting stuff 20 some odd years ago. Some of his photos are like, they still kind of have the like 90s look, but he's good. Well, what who else do we have? Let's jump on and talk to someone. Edward, you're unmuted now. What's going on? Where are you out of, Edward? Have you been on before?
No, I haven't. I just first time. My Boston.
Yeah, at Austin.
And,
You're freezing up. on me.
Boston,
Oh, Boston. Okay,
Massachusetts.
gotcha. Okay, I thought you said Austin. All right. Well, that's cool. What are you working on today?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're freezing up a little bit, but I can hear you.
Do you have a better internet connection, maybe? Or
Yeah, like a hard line. That's the trouble with these calls. Sometimes you. Yeah, we lost him, I think.
or a
Well,
better internet connection? Somehow the maybe a phone sometimes if you want to try to get back in.
yeah, maybe check out back in. All right, well, let's jump over to somebody else. I'll just go straight down the line, or down my line. How do I put? Is it Kirsten? Kirsten?
Yeah. Hi, Jake.
Hey, how are you? Is this your first time on the?
No, I was on the other week with Ricardo, and then I've
Okay.
been on
Oh yeah,
a couple
you were with
times.
her. Okay, you were with.
I just had a suggestion maybe for the Studio Ghibli thing because I'm a huge Studio Ghibli fan.
I knew I was gonna get one. I knew somebody was gonna come to me.
So you said you watched all the movies, correct?
The ones that I'm doing, not all the Studio Ghibli movies now.
Okay, so in the beginning of Ponyo, like the intro of Ponyo, it has like this really cool like wave texture. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
I think that would be a cool thing to have to fill up your space. You could even use like 3 bars, like wave bars of it with like that little cartoon house, and then like a negative space in between that, and then kind of just fill your background in like that. That could be just something I thought of that could help.
Can you?
For sure. That's definitely. I was definitely thinking of like pulling in a wave somehow.
Yeah.
But then, like I was saying earlier, I was trying to like keep a lot of negative space in it. So I was wondering, because the wave would have to come from the bottom. So then I feel like the bottom part would be kind of like filled in with a lot of like color and value and stuff, and then it would just go to nothing at the top. But so that was another thing that I was kind of trying to tackle a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the wave looks like, but could you shoot it down from the elbow since you're going up near the elbow and use the elbow as a negative spot, as a negative, and pull the wave down from there? Or
Right.
I don't know what the wave looks like.
oh shit, I can. Okay,
Looks like
sorry.
a wave.
I pulled it up on my iPad so I can show like an example of. So like these are what are in the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
So
It's a little more.
yeah.
It's a little more.
yeah.
So like even if you took like
Yeah,
one
okay.
strip of it in the middle, and you can still incorporate your negative space after that sort of thing, even to separate the characters in a way too. Like I don't know, just thought.
Yeah,
Be
totally.
interesting.
Well, then that's
Yeah,
a totally. Well, then that's a. Those are pretty light. So those are pretty light. So
Yeah, you can always, darken contrast and everything. It's always sometimes usually the element, at the same time, but just a suggestion. But
yeah, thanks.
also for myself, I'm working on some thumbnails here for a painting I'm probably going to start today. It's been a while since I've been painting. Show here. So thanks to the Monday night exercises, I do thumbnails all the time now. So
Awesome.
I started this last night with like super rough, another idea, and then a third idea. And then we decided on that top left concept. So then I did a second mock-up of just a bunch of ideas I had all together. And then this other page behind this will be used to do one final thumbnail layout just to get a plan going. So that way, when I approach the canvas or wood or whatever I'm doing, all I have to concentrate on is just applying it, not the composition,
Yeah. So what is this based on? Anything?
I don't know. I keep drawing these like little characters all the time. And so I just wanted to draw a little kid in like a Alice in Wonderland type situation, but just have these characters somewhere in it. I was even going to give like some of the mushrooms faces and kind of just fill up all of the space, but at the same time make it very pleasing. Like, like there's a huge star in the middle of this just to make it pleasing and not so chaotic.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of triangle shapes. Like there's a lot of triangles like everywhere throughout the whole thing, just to make it more pleasing.
Yeah, yeah. What do you paint in? Acrylic or?
Yeah, I do heavy body acrylics. I have been watching a lot of Crayola videos ever since I started painting.
Yeah.
I always try and see like what he's doing to kind of go about it, because the way that he blends his acrylics is sort of like oils.
Yeah.
And I like using his method of using two brushes always. Like you have a wet brush and then immediately a dry brush to kind of like smooth in whatever you just applied.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 His work is crazy, and he's a great example. Sometimes he'll do, stuff like some of these like with big open backgrounds, and then some of his paintings have so much happening, and he does such a great job of creating a good depth of field and space and atmosphere and all that. I've watched him put these paintings together too, and they're really it's crazy. And yeah, like I watched an interview with him once, and he was like, they were asking him what he used, and he was like, I just use like acrylic paint and dirty water. I don't really have any tricks.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I was laughing my ass off about that. But he does put a lot of time and effort into like the gesso coats. Like
really?
he puts a lot of time and effort into like making sure that the first few coats are smooth as like glass.
Huh.
But so I don't know if that helps with the process, the overall like look. I would assume so, especially if he's doing like that, dry brush on wet paint kind of thing. It'd probably best not to have anything catching while you're doing that.
Yeah, he uses a slow drying retarder too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's a lot of mediums for acrylics that I never knew, and they're awesome. It's just like applying them to oils even. Yeah. Yeah, look how smooth and soft that is. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that color palette is choice too.
Yeah, he's great also with like with using texture, and then also being really bold with his highlights and stuff. He'll like draw, he'll like draw in these crazy highlights, and they'll follow the shape in wild ways. So look at that one. I've never seen that. Yeah, see, look at all the atmosphere there. Like there's plenty happening, but he just completely grays out, softens everything in the background, and really a decent part of the foreground. There's just a handful of things that really jump forward in that painting. It's all pretty soft and muted.
Yeah, it makes those faces of whatever creature he created like kind of really jump out at you.
Yeah.
And that follows up into that crow's face and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. He's really awesome.
I did a crow kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He did a seminar at one of the tattoo gatherings back in the day.
Yeah, you
nice.
That. That's great.
First or second one, maybe. He's fucking sick. Great guy too, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I would cry if I met him.
Sounds like we got to get him back on board.
Yeah, Gabe, reach back out. Get him on a Monday morning drawing group.
Oh my God.
That's it's California for him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's early morning.
But we all pitch in a little bit.
Yeah, maybe you could jump in on Jason's drawing group. Yeah. Well, let's move on. What about Akshay? Is that how I pronounce your name? Akshay? Is he listening?
Yep.
Hello, sir.
And actually, before you get started, is there any chance you could turn your phone sideways?
Yeah.
Horizontal. If you could move your phone.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Perfect. How's it going, man? What are you working on today?
Yes, sir. I'm from India, sir, and I'm just working on some flash designs.
Oh,
I thought to like join in today with you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on. This is your first time coming on the show, right?
Hello.
Can you hear us? We're having more
Yes,
technical
sir.
difficulties
It's
today.
my first time today.
Oh, good deal.
But I have been watching you from but I have been watching you guys from very long time, from 2 to 3 months ago.
Oh, sweet. Well, cool. What? So you're working on some? You said some thumbnails today. What did you say you're working on? Flash. Oh,
yes,
Flash.
sir. I'm working some. Yeah, sir. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Morning, y'all.
Hey, good morning.
Jason.
What up,
What's
Jason?
up, man? How are you?
Hi, Jason.
Yeah, we have
We're
a
running late. I
that's cool.
apologize. I
We
was
got a
late. I know.
big group today. I had to scroll to see you. I didn't know you were on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing up breakfast now, so
Late
starting to
start.
draw in just a few minutes.
Sweet. Well, we'll see
Oh,
what.
those are some cool designs, man.
Yeah, those look great, man. Really nice.
Yes, sir. These are just like rough ideas that I do. So today also I'm trying to do something like really rough today.
Oh yeah.
Something like this.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
That looks great.
Uh-huh. It froze up on me.
Froze up on us.
Yeah. How long have you been tattooing? Oh, there we go.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, these look great.
Killer.
Yes, sir. I have been tattooing from like last 4 to 5 years. But like from last year, I have taken my apprenticeship, like professional apprenticeship from Iron Bus Tattoos.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, and you said you're in what? You said you're in India. In what part?
Yes, sir. I'm from India, from north. I'm from Himachal Pradesh. It's in the northern side. It's like under the mountains and that kind of side, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So I just saw a little bit of your work. Are you mostly working in black and gray, or do you do a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of
Yes, sir.
color?
Black and gray.
Yeah, yeah. That
No,
little bit that I
no,
saw looked
no,
nice.
sir. I don't do. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag, I guess, when we're talking.
I mean, it's amazing that it works at all. It's like
Right.
magic.
Yeah. It is. It is like magic. You can only complain so much. So do you do mostly walk-in? You said you're doing flash pieces. Is that for shows or conventions, or do you do mostly walk-in work, flash work that you design and sell at your shop?
Sir, actually, right now, due to coronavirus, like due to lockdown, there's not much kind of a work. But I mostly work on custom pieces, like do some realism work on, like Procreate, create some realistic designs. But today I'm just like drawing some rough ideas for some small pieces, because here in India, sir, like maximum people don't prefer to get big pieces in one go. Like first they meet us, and then when we like tell them that you should go bigger on yourself, and this piece will look good on you if you go bigger, then they accept the idea of getting a bigger tattoo. But for the start, they just come here and ask for a tattoo, so we have to show them some small designs, stuff like
Yeah.
that, sir.
Right. Yeah. So you guys are still in some you're still in lockdown to some extent, or are you tattooing at all right now?
Sorry, sir, I can't. I didn't
Are
understand
you
what you just
still
said.
are you tattooing now, or are you still in complete lockdown?
Sir, it's kind of a curfew right now. Like I'm working as a private studio right now, sir.
Okay.
First I was in Iron Bus Tattoos. It's so much good there. It's in Bombay, and there was a lot of work that side. But right now I'm working from my own, like as a private studio. So
Yeah.
I work on mostly appointment basis. So that kind of a scene with me
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. Well, Jason, what about you? What do you have going this week since you came in late?
So this week I'm going to be working on a lot of current existing projects that have already been started. I've got 2 or 3 half sleeves I'm going to be working on, a thigh piece. Tomorrow I'm actually really excited. My friend Lex, who has been kind of going through and getting a little bit more well known in the DJ scene and the music scene. Hold on, I'm trying to get my camera set together.
Yeah, that's cool.
But she has an old Russian Mastrika doll tattooed on her calf, and it wasn't done the best at first, you know. So I sent her this last night, and she loves very, very dark black work, very old school, very traditional style tattoos, but she doesn't like color. So it's just all black and gray all the time. And the harder the black, the better. And it's not really what I do a whole lot of, but I do enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So I took some of and it's kind of difficult to see, obviously.
Yeah,
Took some
that's great.
traditional Russian floral motifs. And I will go through, let's get rid of that and that. So this is what she has currently.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's what she's got currently. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't we use that as the centerpiece?
Yeah.
Kind of like the doll on the doll, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, that might be cool. Keeping it a little bit more of like a graphic style, just kind of expanding off of that. Going through adding some dark where it needs dark, adding some value shading to it. Nothing super crazy, but simple enough that it can turn an older tattoo into something that she's really going to be happy with.
Yeah. And where is it on her body?
The back of her calf.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I still have. Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 inches wide by like 3 or 4 inches tall for the existing one. So it's pretty small. It's on like the upper portion of the ball of her calf.
Yeah.
So this part should fit the calf area perfectly.
Right.
And it shouldn't go up too much higher. She's like, I just don't want the back of my knee tattooed. And I'm like, don't worry. I don't want to put another human through that.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've had that done and it sucks.
It's
terrible. Don't ever get the back of your knee tattooed.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
So just leave it open.
Just leave it. Yeah. Design cleverly. Leave it open.
Right.
We can just do the with the Rebel logo and the Imperial logo around it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think you just gave me an idea for either my kneecaps or the backs of my knees, man.
Sweet.
Looks
Sorry to interrupt
like
you.
Edward's back on. Maybe the connection's a little better.
Oh, maybe so. Edward, can you hear us? Do you think you have better service now, or looks like I can see movement? Maybe not. I can't tell.
Reinventing to Ed. Reinventing to Ed.
You have to unmute yourself.
There you have to unmute. There we go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get my hotspot on, and the Wi-Fi here kept picking it up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is my first time.
Well, cool. Well, let's while you have good service, show us what you're working on.
Starting, I got all sorts of stuff I'm doing, but right now I am. My boy wants this. It's like it's a 32 Ford.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he wants something like that with another thing like an armored car with the Celtic symbol, except instead of the cane, he wants a Tommy gun, and then just like saying Boston above it.
Okay.
But
like a real. Do you have any of it worked out, or just rough sketches?
I mean, I finished stuff inside, I think.
Okay. How long have you been tattooing, Edward?
Not long, maybe a year.
Okay.
I got all my certificates, but with the COVID, it's hard to
Oh yeah.
I have
You
to
started
do
at the wrong time.
I have to do like an apprenticeship, so
That looks nice.
in Boston.
Yeah. Those look nice. So have you gotten to tattoo much throughout your first year, or were you shut down?
Well, just my friends actually,
Yeah.
But everything I have is like I'm outside right now, so but yeah, I'm just learning. And I really don't want to. I don't want to do anything until like I can sit down because it's permanent, obviously, and like with stuff like they want done. They don't care, they know me, so they just want me to do it on them. But I tell them you're better off going to, someone that has more practice, but they don't care. They still want me to do it. They're comfortable with,
There's no shortage of people wanting free tattoos. That's one thing I've learned over the years of doing this. They're
I started on myself with this the other day.
Oh, that's got to be a tough spot to start working. So you said that you are going through an apprenticeship, or you're just self-taught?
Self-taught right now. I need to do an apprenticeship. I've done my
I would do that.
Bloodborne pathogens. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've been through all the certification stuff on the as far as the health department stuff goes. You've done all that part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
gotcha.
I actually just I got out not too long ago, and I'm in a program, and actually the director here approved me to have like the equipment in practice.
Where did you get equipment without a? So that I don't know how it works in your area. Jason, you guys that are up in that area may have a better idea. Do you have to are artists licensed in your area, or is it just shops that are licensed? Or I'm just wondering where you got the equipment from, and if you had to show a license.
In Massachusetts, it's a town by town situation. So my town could be different from Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Cambridge, you have to do search with one of the city workers. They have you do tasks and things of that nature. But I'm from like Boston, like Dorchester, so I would like to have something inside the city. In order to do that, I have to get like 900 hours. I've just been practicing on the fake skin mostly. But yeah, it was hard, like, because I couldn't really stretch my skin. I'm like all sorts of crazy angles and
yeah, it's a real uphill battle.
It is something I'm gonna stick with though, because I do a lot of painting, and I like black and gray personally, but I think I'm better with the colors because I just find the stuff I've done with colors is better. Because I'm good with blending colors, mixing colors, things like that.
Can we take a peek at what you have on your lap there? And then we also have another new guy that's joined too.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah,
let's see what we have. You're giving us a little teaser of.
We can just see the very bottom of whatever the knife is. Can you show us the rest of the piece that's facing us right now?
Oh, this?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what you're doing is nice and tattooable. It's clean, so everything that it looks like you're doing will translate to tattoos. But it's just such a struggle to be self-taught, especially these days. I mean, it's always been a struggle. But there are so many great tattooers now that it's that you put yourself in a tough position being completely self-taught. So hopefully you can find a good mentor that'll help. It looks like the drawings they look great though. Everything that I've seen looks completely tattooable.
Yeah, and I definitely have clients. There's no question.
Right.
Everyone I know, has tattoos and wants them.
Yeah.
And then just with the graffiti and stuff, they know me from like lettering and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, good luck. The drawings look great. Yeah, we do have someone new. Let's move on to Sean. We're down to our last 10 minutes. Man, this is a huge group today. This is awesome. How's it going, Sean?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm great, man. I'm great. A little head cold. Other than that, I feel great. What are you? Where are you out of?
Wisconsin, Oshkosh.
Okay. Yeah. What are you working on? Anything this morning? Have any projects this week?
I just playing around with snake design today.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Is that for something you're doing this week, or is it?
Actually, no, man. I ended up getting this book it was the geometry of snakes and dragons, and just decided to do some sketching, man.
The geometry of snakes and dragons. Do you have it nearby?
Yeah, this is actually a really, really good book. Really expensive, but came from a really good publisher.
From Kintaro Publishing, right?
Yes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Do you
That's
have
killer.
it, Jason? Yeah, that was great. Let me write that down.
It's a
Pick
really
that
good
up.
book. I highly
Where-
recommend it.
Where did you pick it up?
Off Guitar published.
Off their site. Gotcha.
Yeah, off their website. Yeah, they got Felipe does stuff for him too. He's got some. I think that's how I found out about it and found the book was because I was on there looking at some paintings he did and was releasing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just writing it down. Yeah, that looks awesome. So what is it? I mean, it does it have a lot of practical kind of advice and stuff for like drawing scales, or
a lot of it's like this, you know, they start off with the geometry or whatever, and then go to the finished product. There's no like step by step, but you don't really do that, you know.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah,
shape of something down, you're able to fill in the blank.
Yeah, that's cool.
That reminds me a lot of the wireframe drawings that they did in the one book that they put out called Japanese Botanicals or Japanese Flora, I think it was.
The same publisher?
Once again,
is that a book?
Same publisher.
Is it?
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's out of print right now.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing where they would show you wireframes of like just base movements and angles, and then show you the step-by-step development of, okay, we're going to go through and we're going to draw, you know, this circle here, and then it's going to curve up there. You know what? Let me grab my book real quick. I'll just show you. Hold on.
Yeah, no, that was actually a book I was looking for. Not that specific title, but one on more of the Japanese floral stuff.
Yeah. Man, there's always good. And what's the name of the publisher again? Sorry, I got the name of the book.
Kintaro?
Can you spell it? Kintaro?
Yeah, I don't have one of their things in front of me.
I think I can sound it out. Sweet. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna look that up today and see if I can pick it up. So what type of tattooing do you do mostly? Kind of a traditional approach, or do you?
Yeah, I was taught by a total traditional artist. That's all he ever did.
Yeah. How long have you been tattooing?
Off and on for over like 10 years now.
Oh, okay. Just doing other things in between, or what?
Yeah. So like right now I'm welding and stuff. I'm kind of giving myself the year to build up a new portfolio. And I was either gonna open up my own place, not really a tattoo shop, just like just some place to do my art and do stuff all nice and neat.
Yeah,
it's killer.
Yeah. That seems to be the kind of the way most everything is going. And I know Gabe we've had the discussion about kind of the pros and cons of everyone kind of moving off to private studios, and I did it too years ago. I've really enjoyed it, but we're kind of seeing a little bit of the beginning of the end of some of these really iconic shops that have like these stacked, you know, these like what am I trying to say? They're just stacked with great artists, because most of the great artists have found that they prefer to be away in their own space, or maybe with just one or two people instead of being in a big shop. And so you think about.
There's still a couple good ones. I mean, I guess this is where there's a discussion, right? It's like, you know, private studios are cool. You know, a studio with 6 other artists that are all pushing each other every day and showing off their tattoos to each other. You know, with awesome guests coming. I'm definitely not going to open up another tattoo shop ever again. But on the other hand, I'm not convinced that on the other hand, it is incredibly difficult, and I am almost convinced that the upside to owning a tattoo shop is not worth the liability. Because at the end of the day, the shop owner could maybe makes a little bit of dough. You know, some shop owners can do it for a decade or two, and create it and keep it together, but it's not trivial. And again, the major upside is ultimately having an environment that you love to work in. And so, as tricky as it is to have that with 6 to 12 to 20 to 30 people, it is easier to manage a small private studio to be your perfect environment, but I don't think you can manage the same action, as a studio that's doing real, 6 to 10 artists of revenue can, if the shop owner is investing it back into the experience of the tattooers, that's what shop owners have to do is take that leverage and create an experience that artists can't just recreate.
Yeah.
Because, you can tattoo your friends. It's also one of the beauties of tattooing is that, you don't need anybody else. You just if you give somebody a good tattoo and show them a good time, they're coming back with their friends. And
Yeah.
I agree with that entirely.
Right.
I think I would definitely like to work in a shop with other artists. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed that pushing each other thing and feeding off of one another. I've always thrived on that kind of competitive thing, But if I can't get into, like, I got a small list of shops that I want to work in, and if I can't get into any of those, then I was gonna go do that. We have a lot of just not so good shops. We'll just leave it at that.
That's really the thing that can kind of go either way. I've been in positions where I was around great tattooers and it inspired you to be better. And I've been in positions where everyone kind of showed up, went through the motions at work, had their own life drama that they brought to work, and no one got any better. And in fact, probably everyone got a little worse over time, or a little a little less motivated, a little less inspired. So it can kind of go either way. Shops like Off the Map, like what Gabe was doing, they did a great job of kind of forced inspiration where they would do live drawing and painting nights and things like that where you encourage people to hang out outside of work and work on things that weren't tattoo related. I think that's where shop owners I think can really separate themselves from other shop owners.
Yeah, I'd have to say, like, the second to the last shop I worked in, I love doing stuff like that. We would hang out after work and we'd have one sheet of paper and somebody starts drawing something and you pass it off to the next guy and he starts drawing something on that and you just go back and forth like that, building off of each other.
Right.
I really love that. That's why
lots of growth right there, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of inspiration, motivation. It keeps you like hungry for it,
Right.
Get excited for it. Yeah.
Like, in a shop, you really have to have those like dynamics with your fellow colleagues, man. If you're not meshing well with them, it's not going to go well.
Right.
Yeah.
Casey Lee in the chat room I don't know if he's driving and fucking texting at the same time. Hopefully maybe he's got an autopilot car. But he writes in did a private studio. They did a private studio for the last year and couldn't do it anymore. I needed that interaction and motivation.
Yeah. I feel that I'm 6 years in a private studio, and if it weren't for Fireside and and all the traveling that we do, and surrounding myself with people, I think it would really be a struggle this last year, not doing any travel at all and just being at the studio, just me and my client. I definitely found myself in funks.
Right.
So it happens. It's hard to just to stay inspired working by yourself. The thing is like your client's always impressed. They don't draw for the most part. So it's like it's not that hard to please clients, but continuing to challenge yourself and do things you're happy with. I probably spent more time coming home from from a full day session this last year, being disappointed in how far I got, or a few of the decisions that I made, or whatever than I have in recent years. So I think just because of the lack of the lack of interaction with other tattooers and in real life.
Yeah, it's not like it's bad for the client to compliment you. You know what I mean? And you enjoy that, but at the same time, like you want that critique, that other artist's eye to kind of point some things out, and you already know that they're there. And then when they point that out, and then other things as well, it's like, all right, man, I got you. You kind of pick up on that, and it's definitely one of the hardest things to pick up on when you're in the private studio. Because I've been in the same situation for a while, and then jumped on RIT. Man, it's like helping out tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I think you hit the nail on the head there, Ricardo. I think it does come down to the critique, right? Because you want to be around other artists to sit down and have them look at your work, because we're always going to find the most flaws in all of our work, right?
Yeah.
And that comes with being an artist. When you don't have someone that you can turn around to and show them pictures at the end of the day and have and say, hey, what can I work on to be better? What can I work on to improve where I am? When you can have that feedback from other people in this field that also know what they're doing, that maybe they're a step or two above you, it's absolutely unbelievably the most valuable thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because then you're looking at things from a perspective of, oh, I didn't even catch that. Oh, I didn't bother to look at that. Or, no, you're right, that color blend could have been a little bit smoother. Or, yeah, I do see where this area might be beat up a little bit more. Or maybe I could have done a little bit more with this area to put more detail in it. So it's constantly little things like that where you're learning, but that comes from critiques. And unless you're constantly surrounded by other people in this industry that you can go to and say, hey, what do I need to work on now? What do I need to work on now? Or let me sit down and watch you tattoo, and maybe I'll take something away from that.
Right.
When you constantly have that around you, you don't have a choice. You're going to grow as an artist, and you're going to grow as a tattooer. You're going to pick up technique tricks. Sorry, still early for me, but you're going to pick up all kinds of different stuff. Like, oh man, I never thought about mixing that color and that color and blending this into that, or working in this kind of a method. Or maybe you see someone stretching out a client in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. That's something that, you don't get unless you're around other tattooers day in and day out.
Well, not only that, but sometimes like the attitude check too. You know what I mean? Like that, like you're talking about, Jake, like, people bring their drama in sometimes and it creates a totally toxic environment, dude. And it's like, man, every once in a while you have to have a friend that goes, dude, what's going on with you, man? What's up? Like, let's sit down and talk about this.
Yeah. Some of the best value that I found is, Jason, you were talking about how we're our own worst critics, but I found that I miss the most obvious stuff sometimes, especially early on in layouts or whatever. And my wife doesn't draw, but she's good about coming by and I'm struggling with something. And she'll be like, well, that looks wrong, or that looks too big, or her eye's not right, or something. And you're like, oh shit, that's exactly what that is. I'm like looking right past the most obvious problem here. And sometimes it's just having, you solve so many of the simple problems so much faster. If you have an extra set of eyes on things, you don't spend like 10 hours drawing in the wrong direction because you missed the most simple the most simple issue right off the bat.
It's definitely worth mentioning that there's a great Nick Baxter video evaluating art and the principles of critique. I'm going to show it here real quick on the YouTube. And as far as I don't know if this is showing right or not, but this is he did this in one of the art retreats, I think, in New Mexico. Maybe originally he had co-authored it with Teresa Sharp, but he basically goes through critiquing, and it's pretty cool. It's like 40 minutes, and it's a lot of him lecture, but he's got different methods of critique, different intentions. It's pretty sick. He does go through composition a bit. This is at this point, I guess it's 2015. It's kind of old, but on the other hand, the principles of critique don't change much, and it's definitely worth a good. So if you do a search for Nick Baxter evaluating art, the principles of critique, or even if you just do a search for Nick Baxter critique, that'll show up.
It'll pop up. Yeah. I've seen him do that. I didn't see that video, but I've seen him do that talk. And it is really good. And he does an abbreviated version in his live workshops too. We've done, he came down and did a still life workshop at my studio and did an abbreviated version, not so much on the critique, but on creating kind of dynamic compositions and using a lot of those overlays and stuff like that. The stuff's really, it all comes from, he didn't invent any of it, but he's really good at using it and explaining it.
Yeah, he's a very effective communicator, very visual, effective communicator.
Yeah.
I love watching people take his seminar. I mean, I really love watching the people that get it.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely some people that are like, "Whoa, that was way over my head." And I was like, "Well, just slow down, do some research. You got it."
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
he's very thoughtful and very methodical. The way that he breaks his thought processes down, and he doesn't waste any. You know, doesn't waste anything. You know, and that's kind of who he is. He's like, you know, if he's going to communicate, it's going to be very effective because he doesn't want to communicate any more than he has to.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jason, is that the book you were showing?
Yes.
Before we wrap up? It's almost 10 after, so we'll probably have to cut it pretty soon. But what? So this is the same.
The book
same
Japanese Flora,
publisher.
also from Kintaro Publishing.
Okay.
And as you go through, so it starts off. They cover all different types of flowers.
Huh.
Then, you know, obviously like a little forward. These are the first few sections are all basically just like reference images, different types of flowers, you know, potential layouts.
Yeah.
Peonies, chrysanthemums, lotus flowers, cherry blossoms, you name it, they've got it. But the thing that really got to me was back here. They have an entire section on technique.
Huh.
And I'm not sure how well I can get it to focus, but
yeah.
They start out and they will literally walk you through via wireframes and just like, rough kind of sketching, but they'll start off with, you know, small little ball and then how you can grow that. And then, you know, towards the end of it, it'll walk you through how you can get all the way down to a finished flower. You know, it even has like a nice little diagram of the golden ratio, which is cool. Right below this.
Huh. Yeah, that's great.
You know, how you can take branches and map things out in a very rough manner, and then what you can turn those basic shapes into, you know, and it all matches up. It's like, okay, well, all I see over here is a circle and a circle. But when I look at the finished drawing over here, I can see what they did.
Yeah.
They used the circle to map out the interior portion of that cherry blossom. And then they use the exterior circle to go through and kind of map out where the outside radius of those petals would be.
Yeah.
You know, and they do it with lotus flowers and peonies, lily pads. This one really got to me the most. It's on chrysanthemums and like chrysanthemum petals.
Yeah.
And like you can see how they just basically start out with like a two-dimensional ribbon. And how it kind of just wraps around and flows around. And then it shows you in some of the progression shots, like, okay, well, if this is coming up this way and curving that way, this is what the petal's going to turn into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm working with something flowing in this direction, ultimately it's going to end up looking like this for its basic shape. You know, so it really does walk you through step by step with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. That's great.
So Jake, before you boogie, real quick, think of a number between 1 and 5.
4. Was I supposed to say it?
Yes, Sean, we need to get your information, your contact info, because we have a double goodie bag going to you.
Sweet.
So basically, we have these goodie bags from Cheyenne and Raw Pigments, and for zooming in, we now have some that we can give away, and
awesome.
We'll be doing that. And we who is it? Is in the chat room? Casey Lee. He's going to contact us. He was the person who got the goodie bag in the chat room, and he was not driving. He said, "Nope, I'm not driving. I'm late. I've been distracted by some dope artists talking about art on some app. LOL." Although we definitely don't want to encourage anybody to be late. You can't blame us for being late for work.
No.
Especially Monday mornings, we have to be punctual. But
Well, cool.
Awesome.
Well, I want to. I'm going to jump off, but I want to talk to you about the logistics of how you're doing goodie bags. If this, if you end up doing a lot of these things, if you have any idea.
Yeah, we have the mechanism down now. We finally
Yeah.
got it rolling now. So we'll be doing, instead of, we did them for the equinox. Yeah, so we'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. I want to try to, if we can, let's try to jump on a call this week. I'm headed back to get tattooed by Andy on Friday. I leave Thursday, so I've got a full day of airports. If you have any time to jump on a call Thursday.
Absolutely. Real quick, because I know you love to know who's beaming in from the world. We have Asim says love from Pakistan. Fanine says bonjour from France. Gratitude to all the artists. Vivek, I don't know where they're from, but let's see. We've got Ronaldo says good morning from in Portuguese. So presuming Portugal, possibly Brazil, and there's a whole nother round. But I know that you got to go, so I just wanted to.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. Awesome. Well, man, this was great. Thanks everybody for jumping on. I didn't expect so many people today, but that was fantastic. Nice to meet all the new folks, and good to see all the regulars. We'll see you guys next week.
Cheers. Thanks, Jake.
Right,
and
thanks.
We could stay on. Like, has anybody got maybe another 20 minutes, or what's the?
I gotta get going, so I'll see you guys next time, though.
Awesome. Thank you very much for beaming in, as always.
Bye, guys.
Later.
I'm good for a little while longer.
Sticking around.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to, but officially, just keep it on split screen mode, and we might do some more giveaways, but we're now at the official hour and 15-minute mark, and we're actually going to start getting some program. We're going to take breaks and stuff sometime in the future with like little videos in between.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I like that format.
It's fun doing really long streams, but if we should have breaks, and people, the sponsors are kind of, they're footing the bill, so it's just fair and awesome for them. And so far, the videos are all like pretty cool videos. It's not like anybody's just straight up, doing ads. It's all like, artists talking about cool shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Gabe, how did you want me to give you my information?
If you email management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And anybody that's been following like the business seminars or something is like, Gabe, aren't you kind of doing a little bit backwards? To which I would say, yes. By the next time, we'll have a form for people to fill out their information, and then we could pull the winner from the information that we already collect, as opposed to just collecting the information from the two winners. So, for instance, if you were doing something like this for your tattoo shop and you were giving away gift certificates, you would want to set the form up ahead of time that says enter in to win, so that you collect, say, 10 to 30 people's information, as opposed to the way that we just did it. Now we just get 2 people's information. Anyways, it's pretty fun to be able to give away shit.
Now, are regulars kind of like out for this?
Well, once every 30 days, I think, might be where we kind of go with it.
Ah, gotcha.
The goal is to get the supplies into the hands of new, diverse runs of people. But of course, we're trying to think about this for Tattoo of the Day when we start doing contests. Some people win Tattoo of the Day. If they entered it 30 days in a row, they might win it fucking 5 days, that month. If they're at a tattoo at a tattoo convention or some such. So we'll see. We got to figure it all out. Still playing a little loosey-goosey, but we have, we're pretty excited to have, another good little chunk of samples from Cheyenne and from Raw Pigments. And we are, so now we're hitting up all of the other companies for, sponsor, if, see if they want to sponsor, see if they want to put into the goodie bags and make it pretty fucking cool.
Absolutely, man. I think Ricardo should get some more T-shirts made and throw those into the goodie bags.
I'm into that. We can do that.
Sweet. Well, it is a good spot if we talk about all of the stuff that goes into the goodie bags, every time we do a stream. There you go.
Okay. Cool, man.
That's,
I'll send you a couple messages, see what we can do.
Sweet.
Rock and roll.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, Ricardo.
No, man, that's great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm trying to make up some of my own as well, so just trying to get that figured out and size along with all of the other projects that I have going on.
Like you don't have a whole lot. Yeah, Gabe, yours should be coming in the mail here pretty soon.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It took me a little while to get them from the t-shirt guys, so we're good though. When I visited Jason and when Kier came down, I gave him theirs. So, and I got to send Bruno's out too.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Mine fits like a glove, man. It's great.
Does it feel
Super
good?
soft fabric.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I got that, man. I found the right guy for the right t-shirts, and like if I wear shirts that feel crispy or anything like that, dude, it freaks me out, man. I start sweating and everything, dude. It's nuts. So I had to make yeah, so I had to make sure and get that soft feel on them. And the print is just like it's like part of the fabric. So.
Also, just being back into the chat room. The story thickens. Actually, the story doesn't thicken. The story thins a little bit. I don't know if that happens, but Casey says technically it's their day off, but they're going in anyways. So tattoos are their life. Like a shark, if I stop, I will die. LOL. So they're not even actually late to work. They're just safely listening from the car before going in to work extra. So that's commendable. Any of our critique was ill-warranted. That's what we get for making judgments over the internet.
Casey, what a cool way to put that, man. If you're like a shark, if you stop, you'll die. That's great. I'm not to steal that one from you if you don't mind, or borrow it. That's cool.
Hey, Gabe, just so I got this correct, it was management at reinventingthetattoo.com?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. This is it's fun.
And then you just like want address, name.
We'll send you a form where you get to fill out, like exactly that stuff. That way it goes right into the computer. Then the computer sends it over to the catalog, and then the catalog spits out the addresses and shit, the printout label, whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's happening somewhere else. But in theory, a lot of it is like a couple clicks, and all of a sudden it happens right. We're connecting a lot of dots technically behind the scenes, which is pretty fun. It's fucking really fun.
Yeah, maybe I can get a quick critique from everyone. Ricardo, I implemented what you were talking about the other day.
Okay.
For this design, I'm just kind of tweaking some of the colors now. But this is a rough layout for a pretty large painting that I got commissioned to do by a friend of mine out in New Jersey. And I'm trying to give it kind of like that Art Nouveau kind of feel. I'm not sure how well my camera's aligned here, but that should be a little bit easier for everyone to see. Let's see if I can get a better angle on it. There we go. Much better. So this is general layout as far as, I've gotten so far. I've got some nice background flow, some kind of ornamental elements in there. Just trying to play around with some color. I've got a lot of nice muted blues in the background that show kind of a counterflow, but they're pretty subtle. I added in some of those ornaments, some of those border ornaments like you were talking about yesterday, Ricardo, during our drawing group. Got those finalized last night, and I started to throw around some color. And I think I'm going to stick with some of these brighter yellow tones that just kind of like wash out into almost a pure white.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to hit that in the corners as well.
Yeah.
I might do pink in the corners as opposed, like a deco pink, as opposed to the yellow, just to help offset it. But I'm not sure if I should. I usually try to tie color in like at least 2 or 3 spots, just for continuity's sake. To really move your eye around the piece instead of just having one color in one localized area.
Yep.
So I may do like this smaller guy in like a deco pink to kind of tie it in with these two up here. But I know that I wanted to have my primary emphasis on some nice pale yellow peonies. And then where you see all this brown and like burnt sienna kind of color, that's all actually going to be gold leaf. So I'm going to try to throw a lot of nice gold leaf kind of tones in this as well. All of these little arrows are going to end up being gold leaf as well as some of these tiny little corner accents, monogram in the middle. You know, but I'm just always looking for more critiques on what I could do to improve it, how I could really make certain things stand out a little bit more. I think I need to tie some of this darker blue tone into the background of the blue up here.
I think if you made, I can see what you want to do with that, but I think if you made it darker blue up there, it might be too much for those leaves. I think it'll make it look more like a silhouetted shape rather than being able to define that there's leaves and flowers in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting back and looking at it. And I think if you went with those yellows up there at the top too, and you did do them primarily the same yellow as the bottom, the flowers on the bottom, but the way you brush the blue into the background, I would brush in that pink in those as well, because that'll make them pop out a little bit more. And it might be nice to see some of that pink in that main peony too, but make it primarily that yellow wash kind of color.
Okay.
You know, because then it'll give it you that separation into that gold leaf too. Because there'll be different intensities for the same kind of yellowish. But yeah, I think that looks great already, man. It looks killer.
I'm not sure how, if I could.
You nailed the style too. Those bordered pieces in the background turned out excellent.
Dude, that was like a phenomenal suggestion that you gave me.
Good, man. I'm glad it helped out. Thank you. That looks good.
Yeah, I'm afraid if I try to throw in too much of a pinky tone, like pinkish tone, I think it might end up giving it too much of a peach color.
Yeah. So instead of shaping with the color, I think what I would do is do a separate layer to test this out and just kind of like do. Okay, so then do like a bigger actual brush, like with something with some tooth to it. And I would just kind of do a broad stroke over some of it, like real soft. So that way you're not contouring any more of that shape, so it doesn't take on that peachy kind of color. Like it just gives it like an accent, especially with that watercolor kind of effect. Like I would make the brush huge and just kind of brush over it.
Well, I would want to select those individual areas if I was to do that.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just trying to like work on color tones and color values. That's why I was like, let me try this. I'll create a separate layer and let's just see how it kind of goes. But you know, I think if I mix it in just slightly, it might work well.
Yes, exactly. Because like with watercolors and inking, you know, you definitely approach the watercolor first, and then, you know, then later on you would go in and define all those little petals and all those little leaves and stuff like that we have already in this piece. So those blends would kind of be a little bit more natural underneath your inking, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what I just thought?
What's that?
That might work well. Even if I take... So if I just take some of these external petals, right? Even if I were to just take that pink and just kind of wash down from the tips.
Exactly.
No, then I could layer some of that yellow into that and blend that in. That'll give me a nice little orange peach kind of tone.
Yep. Just enough to deviate it from that gold leaf. I mean, once you get the actual gold leaf onto the painting, it's going to have that separation already because of that different texture and stuff. But in this reference photo, though, it'll definitely help it out in both ways, on the actual painting itself and in the Procreate study.
Yeah, that is one thing I absolutely love Procreate for, is doing color studies and
Yeah.
value studies.
Yeah.
And like initial layouts of like analog paintings that I end up doing,
Right.
just because it gives you the quickness and the versatility to really push what you want to do and experiment without having to waste like physical resources or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Well, it saves you in time too, and yeah, and you've worked out all the bugs like Kira was talking about earlier. Is you've worked out all those questions that you might approach in the painting whenever you're doing that physical painting. Plus, it's practice that later on when you do start painting, you can start eventually just go straight to the canvas because you're starting to get a little more comfortable with the process of it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm already pretty comfortable, you know, working with analog mediums and stuff. It's just I'm one of those analytical people that like I like to go in with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go in with an idea with, okay, this is what my goal is. This is what I'm going to be doing. You know, this is where I'm going to be putting this, so that way, you know, I don't end up sitting down and going through 12 different canvases just trying to get like the right structure.
Right.
You know, but that's just me, and I'm kind of neurotic in that way.
Neuroses.
I'm the product of a mother who has a master's in psychology and a father who has an engineering background. So like I've got that analytical side to me already.
Yeah, that's definitely
So,
an
like,
interesting thing. You have like
I
an
like to
abstract kind of approach.
analyze and like, you know, break things down and, you know, figure out processes and then look at the why behind them. And it's like, well, why did I do that? You know, why did I put that there? Oh, I put that there for this reason. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. What's that?
But yeah, I definitely think that by adding in a tiny bit of like that pink, I think it'll definitely help bring some of it out.
It'll separate it. It'll help it, and it complements it too. Especially that pink and that blue, like those muted tones in the background they have. It's just like electric now, and it's still like not as an intense pink as it could be either. So that's the best part. Is like it's still real soft pastel kind of looking, but that
Yeah, I'm just gonna
contrast
have
is
to be
working out.
careful with how much I mix that pink and the yellow because I don't want it to end up turning into more of an orange tone.
Yeah.
As you can see, like after I washed over that pink with the yellow, it definitely turned it into more of like this peachy orange kind of.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Maybe if the pink was more towards the magenta side of things, it would still magenta, but it would still be like, you know, it's still going to give it somewhat of an orange tone. Then
I have a question. Is that gold gonna conflict with the yellow that they're using in the flower?
Yes and no. The actual tone of the gold that I'll be using might, but I'm actually planning on going with like a much more pale yellow. So that's going to help it stand out a bit more against that gold leaf. The gold leaf is actually, in my mind, going to end up being a bit darker as far as, you know, just tonal quality goes. It's actually going to be sitting on a totally different color plane. Because when you really look at like more of like an old antique gold kind of color tone, it actually almost has kind of like a brownish or a tannish color to it. You know, if it hasn't been polished up or anything like that in a while, it definitely has like an older kind of desaturated, more of a shade to it than anything else. Much less of a pure chroma than the paint that I'll be putting down. So I mean, even if I stick with like this bright and pale of a yellow into a pure white, I think I'll be all right.
Yeah. Plus, the texture of it's just going to be way different too. And then also, I'm not sure, but I think you might be able to varnish some of that gold leaf as well. So if you wanted it deeper, I think you can kind of, tint like a varnish and kind of lay it on top of it. But that might dull it out too much too, though. But it'll definitely make it richer. But I think with to add to what you're saying, I think just the texture itself is going to be way contrasting in comparison to the same penny. And I don't think it'll be the same yellow either. It'll definitely make that peony just pop right out.
All right.
Yeah, especially if I continued to go on the same way that I like to color things in, which is I always like to have my external petals go from so if I'm talking about the interior to the exterior, or like from the base of the petal to the tip. On the outside of the petals, I like to have that go more of like a dark to light. So more of a pure saturation to like a pure white. And on the inside, I like to go from that pure color all the way to white on the interior. Kind of give it like a contrast.
Yeah.
To really help separate out those different elements and to really help separate out, just the interior from the exterior.
Right. Yeah, separation.
All right. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna take off here. It was fun hanging out, man. As
Likewise,
always,
man.
you guys have
Nice to meet you.
Super fantastic day. Yeah, it was nice meeting you too.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Good one.
I think I might be following suit with Sean. I'm gonna head out. My appointment will be here at 10, so I'm gonna get set up and everything for him.
Yeah, cool. It's 10:30, so it's a good that was a good hour and a half. Yeah. Well, thanks again, everybody. Does everybody want to do one last sign off? Let everybody that's still watching know where to find you and how to get in touch with you if they want to get tattooed. And we'll do this anarchy style.
Cool.
So who's first? Am I first?
Go for it.
It's anarchy
Okay.
style. Whoever wants to go first.
Oh, okay. Hello. My name is Kirsten Franklin, and you can find me on Instagram at Frankie Says Things. I'm doing an event with Amy Nichols. We're actually doing a poster contest that ends in 3 days. So you can head over to our Instagrams. Hers is A Nichols Tattoos. And you can find out all the information, rules and whatnot on how to enter for that. You can basically just make a poster for our event, and it'll get used as basically the spotlight for the event, and your artwork gets shown off, and we'll talk about you and all that fun stuff. So feel free to join that. Thanks for joining me with Jake Meeks and everything. I had a lot of fun as always, and yeah, that was super fun. Thanks, guys.
Cool. My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. I tattoo in Normal, Illinois. You can find me on Instagram at Candor Tattoo. Gmail is candortattoo@gmail.com. As always, it's always a pleasure being here with Jake Meeks in the morning. Nice to see everybody. Gabe, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Guy Atchison, for all the RAT stuff, man. This is great. I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later.
Yes, I'll go next. Thank you guys for joining in today. My name is Jason Leeser. I also lead one of the drawing groups on Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. Feel free to check those out where we sit down and discuss art and drawing, tattoo design layout, techniques, Procreate and iPad tips and tricks, all different types of like technology stuff. You never really know where the conversation's going to end up going. Yeah, if anyone ever wants to get a hold of me or has an interesting topic for a show, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Philly Inc. And I'll be more than happy to take note of what you want discussed and maybe include that in the next show.
Yeah.
Cool. Akasha, you want to let everybody know how do they could get tattooed by you in India.
Yes, sir. My name is Akshay Kashyap and I'm from India, and my Instagram is akshay.tattoos. And right now I'm very much junior in this scene, in tattooing scene. It's only 5 years like I have been tattooing, and if you want to get tattooed by me, so you can just reach me out to my Instagram, and I mostly do black and gray realism kind of work. And it's so amazing to sit next to you guys and see you guys all draw. And it was so warming that that you guys treated me like this. And thank you so much, guys. Great scene.
Awesome,
Well,
man.
hey, thank you. Anytime. Well, maybe not anytime, but every Monday or Sunday. Ed, you were wicked noisy in the background. I don't know if you could unmute, let everybody know your Instagram so they could check out your artwork.
Hey.
We'll close the show.
Yeah.
Oh, we're losing you, Ed. Well, thank you very much, Ed, for tuning in. And thanks, everybody, for giving it a follow, a share, and subscribe. Thanks to Cheyenne and Raw Pigments for these awesome reinventing goodie bags that we will be giving away to both people in the chat rooms that are leaving messages and whatnot, as well as people that are Zooming in. We have reinventing drawing groups every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network, and then every Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern with Jason Leeser. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much to, let's see, we've got inkjetstencils.com, we've got rawpigments.co, and guyagison.com, tattoonnow.com. Thanks again, everybody. We will, now's the time to wait.